Today I'm going to be breaking down how my client with 300 followers pulled in a 5K day with this coaching offer through this simple but effective lever. See right here, 300 followers. He's in the trading niche. He's an absolute dog, bro. So what we did, he has 300 followers, and at the time he had about 279, 280 followers, and we had a 5K day. So I have to break this down for y'all. And I know you're asking, how? I know you're this monkey right here. How did he do this? This is probably you. You have 1,000 to 100,000 followers, and you're pulling in 5K months with your coaching offer. And it's simply because you're not pushing this big red button. And what is that? Content. If you're not doing content, you're not doing everything you need to do to run a successful coaching business. But content is not entertainment. What is content? Content is actually creating sales assets. Once you put it into the metaverse, into Instagram, into YouTube, it can be something that can constantly sell for you. So instead of you having to rely on outreach or guessing where your leads are coming from, you can set up your content in a way so it's constantly generating lead flow, constantly selling yourself or your product. And so common mistakes that people actually focus on is just posting daily or high volume, mainly focusing on like virality. And this usually leads to inconsistent quality or low leverage with no clear conversion. Or you're probably, okay, I'm doing content, it's not converting. I just need to edit. I need to edit my Instagram reels better. This does help in looking professional. It can move the needle forward a little bit, but it doesn't guarantee results or actually put you as the authority. And then funnels, you're probably focusing on funnels, optimized landing pages. Yes, this is a big part. I mean, I scale coaching offers and I'm heavily focused on systems. But if you have optimized systems, optimized funnel, and you can be doing 100% correctly. But if you don't have your content, if you don't pair it with content, you don't have any lead flow, and an empty funnel is a useless funnel. And so what actually works is creating a content ecosystem. It's setting up your content so it's constantly selling for you like a flywheel. That clearly puts you as the authority, drives demand, and builds trust for your personal brand, and warms your audience. And this results in inbound leads, higher conversion with less burnout and less work for you. Very much so a raw video, but it's packed with a lot of value. And if you're struggling with your content, you can book on my calendar below and we can possibly find a way to scale your coaching offer. So what should your content do, right? What is the functionality of content? It's to take your buyer from unaware to problem aware to solution aware to product aware to where they're hot and ready, fiending to buy your product, right? So let's break down your stage. So the unaware stage, your audience is scrolling. They're not aware that they have a problem. They're not aware of the solution. So your content should interrupt their scrolling, create relatability, and main thing is to spark curiosity. So they become aware that the situation might be off, right? And so this is Brez, of course, my client. He's showing his lifestyle. He's 19. And so your audience might not even know that they have a problem. For me, a year ago, I saw Brez's Porsche. I saw his new Porsche. And so I didn't even know that I had a problem. That I didn't have a Porsche, that I was broke, that I wasn't financially free, and that the ability to be financially free under the age of 30 was even a possibility, right? And so when I saw that, just interrupted my scrolling pattern. Wow, this young guy with a penthouse. Wow, this young guy with a new car. Wow, this young guy has the ability to travel. And this leads your audience to being problem aware, right? And here the audience knows something isn't working, but they don't fully understand why. Your content should clearly name out the problem, explain its root cause, and challenge common misconceptions so they feel understood, right? And so in this stage, we're trying to lead them and introduce a business model state, then lead to solution aware. Solution aware, now your audience believes there's a solution that exists and exploring different ways to fix a problem. Your content should educate them on possible approaches, explain why some methods fail, and introduce your framework as a better step forward. Because there's 1,000 business models, right? You have real estate, you have trading, drop shipping, growth operating, marketing agency, and they all work. So in this stage, you want to show why your vehicle, right, was a Benz, Mercedes. You want to show why your vehicle is a Mercedes, a Ferrari, compared to the other vehicles who might be electric scooters, correct? And in this stage, we want to clearly educate them on our business model. And then we want to lead them to becoming product aware. We usually do this through our long-form content YouTube, but I'll break that down later in the video on how we actually do this. But you want your audience to be product aware. Your audience is aware of the solution, and they're actually looking and exploring different ways to fix the problem, right? So your content should educate them on the possible approaches and explain why some methods fail, and then introduce your framework or your product as the best way moving forward. So you have Lil Billy. He started out, he's unaware, he's problem aware, he's solution aware, now he's product aware. He's thinking, wow, I came through this by myself. Wow, it's by God's grace I came across this. But no, your content is actually what's funneling him and leading him and taking him on this customer journey to coming to the solution, right? And then finally, it's just a ready buyer. And in this stage, it's just heavy objection handling. And this is usually like post booking nurture sequences. And so, how we actually do this, space out. This is the meat and the potatoes. I really just wanted you to understand the functionality of your content. But the meat and the potatoes is in the content funnel. Like, this is, once they get into this, they're barbecue chicken. They're literally going to be begging you to buy. Take everything I have to buy your coaching offer. So our content funnel should first capture attention, right? We have to capture the attention, get eyeballs. Then second is the nurturing process, nurture attention. And lastly, convert that attention. And that's where the money is made, right? In the converting process. So let's break it down. So it starts out with top of funnel content. And this is to capture attention. At this stage, people don't know who you are and might not be aware of your business model. So we first just want to plant a seed and sparking interest. So they actually click on your page. They can click on your videos. They follow you. Correct. And we did this mainly through Instagram with Simon, but also TikTok is a great way. Short form content is a great way to generate attention. So we did this first through Reels, lifestyle Reels for Simon specifically. And this is to build us as authority, show them, yeah, we are in the position you want to be in. So why not follow us, right? And this is to pique interest, show your followers the dream position, our dream situation they want to be in, right? So we did this. POV trading paid off. Thank God I was never dumb enough to think day trading is a scam. This sunset is beautiful, right? So your followers thinking, wow, how in the world did he get all this, right? How did he get all this? Another way we do this is through Instagram stories. This is something that a lot of people reject, and a lot of people just spam CTAs once they see their bank account getting low. Buy my coaching offer, 5 spots left, 2 spots left, right? And that is an aspect of it, but it's, if you're not using stories to its full capability, your income will be capped, right? And so stories is a great way for just personal connection and storytelling. And this is to build trust and likability. I wish I should have put the screenshots. I just did not screenshot them. Is trust and likability. So I was at X. I was in your position. I was in your shoes. I was working 3 jobs. I was broke. I was in college. I couldn't afford to pack a gun, right? And then you want to, through the story, you want to show how you got to why through your certain vehicle, whether that's wholesale real estate, trading, drop shipping, SMMA, etc. And this is what actually builds connection, right? And then moving on is your middle funnel. And to be honest, this is barbecue chicken. This is your top funnel content. Is like, imagine you have your chicken, you're putting some slap your mama on it, some salt, your pepper, right? But the middle funnel content is when you put them in the oven, and this is where they're getting cooked, they're getting fried, right? And this is where you actually nurture your attention. So our main goal of middle funnel is to educate, objection handle, and build authority and likeness. And a lot of people mistake that people make with the middle funnel content is just educating. But with things like ChatGPT, Google, people are just one search away from at least feeling like they can get the information necessary. So in our middle funnel content, we want to also build authority and likeness. And that's how we actually separate ourselves from just providing education to providing a personal connection. And that's what people are actually seeing you for, right? And we did this through YouTube and Instagram. Use YouTube for education, right? We first want to educate, and this builds authority within our audience. So you want to educate them on the business model. You want to give away free value. A lot of people think, oh, if I give them free value, they won't have any need to invest. No, it's false. It's a false belief. Give away as much free value as possible. Right? Shoot, you can give away all your information inside your community and you will still be able to generate buyers. And you want to give enough, lock in, give enough free value to improve the actual situation and get small wins. And they begin to think, if their free info is so good, I made $1,000, I improved my trading, I was able to close a deal, I was able to get more leads. How how good will their paid information be, right? And through doing this, you want them to think that it came to this conclusion on their own. They got $1,000. This monkey, right? I love me this monkey meme. How did I get this win? What happened? And they're thinking, they're gonna have a light bulb. Oh wait, I invested in Simon's program. Oh wait, I looked at his free content and implemented some of his free strategies, right? And then I was able to get wins. So to really break this down, if your lead, right, Billy, is at point A. They're starting from zero revenue, confusion. They're overwhelmed with no clear system. Your free value content should give them some type of clarity and maybe even enough clarity to get to wins. If you're selling a really expensive product, maybe get to 0 to 10K a month. And right, so from getting to point A to point B, if you're in online business, you're a coach, you've been through it, it's pretty easy, right? It's just, if you have a decent amount of information, of free information, and you just hammer in on it, you can probably get to 5K, 10K. But to actually scale and to get to point C, it unloads a whole new set of problems. So give enough free information to get from point A to point B. But now your product should be pitched as, now I can get you to this. I can get you to 20K, 30K a month. I can get you to consistent profitability and not just one-off wins. And so since you build a trust in their stage from A to B, they're more expensive problems they can't get without one-on-one help and one-on-one mentorship or more information. That's what they'll invest in you, in your product, right? And then the second way, or what we focus on, the middle of funnel content, is testimonials, right? Testimonials. And what this does is build trust. There's two real type of testimonials. There's personal wins. How if you don't have a coaching offer yet, just share your personal wins, share your personal story, share how you got from point A to point B to point C, and what you learned along the way. And also the biggest thing, the most effective thing, is wins inside your community. Wins inside your community, right? If I took Johnny from point A to point B, why can't I take Billy from point A to point B, right? But a lot of people, what people get wrong with their testimonials is they don't call out the situation that someone might be in. You want to be extremely specific, right? So what's the difference? How John made $100,000 with ecom through investing in my program, right? But if you say how John, who was working 2 jobs, who was a waiter, how John, who was a college student, made $100,000 through my coaching offer, that's just more specific. And you want your leads and have enough testimonials to where you feel like you can call out their exact situation to where it feels like God paired them to your coaching offer, right? Like if someone was to come to me 2 years ago and say how I took Bob, who was playing basketball, Division 1, college athlete, went to North Carolina Central, and I took him to $100,000 a month. I'm going to invest because he took someone from my exact situation. Your middle form content should be your long form content. You want to funnel people to your YouTube channel, right? Because we're in an attention war, right? Where people just can't focus for more than 1 minute. Where we're getting cooked by reels and TikToks. People's dopamine receptors are going off the chart, so people can't focus. So if you can get someone to lock in on a 20-minute long, 10-minute long, 15-minute long YouTube video, I promise that they have the money. They'll be willing to invest. People's attention, 10 minutes of their attention is worth $1,000. And so lastly is your bottom of funnel content, your long form content. So you nurtured your audience through your middle funnel content. Now your bottom funnel is where you actually want to push people towards converging, right? And in this process, this is where we implement our CTAs, objection handle, testimonial authority building, etc., etc. And we do this through Instagram and YouTube once again. Top of funnel connects to our middle funnel. Our top of funnel gets people to our Instagram profile. Our middle of funnel educates through YouTube and Instagram. And then some of our middle of funnel content will then finally push toward our long form content, our VSLs, our landing pages, our post booking nurture sequences, right? And this is where we actually convert leads. So after our audience spends an hour, 7 hours, 10 hours just looking at our videos, building our authority, getting proof that our systems work, we then take them into our bottom of funnel process, right? And this is where you convert warm leads after hours of middle of funnel exposure. And so the way that you do this is through long form YouTube content, where it might be 20 minutes, 30 minutes of you just providing deep value, authority positioning, and story-based testimonial. So a great way to do this is through interviews with clients, 30-minute interviews, just going deep in the situation. And then a soft to strong CTA towards your product at the end. I just thought of this, but if you guys have ever watched like Eddie Cumberbatch, he was pitching clipping, and it was just literally just a 30-minute sales script of just objection handling and showing why his business model is the best. And so for your bottom of funnel content for long form, it strictly can be objection handling. It should be explaining why your business model is the best business model rather than education or like lifestyle, if that makes sense. And then the Instagram path, we didn't really do this yet, but retargeting ads is a great way to just target your warm audience through story sequences, value, and then lead, end it with the CTA. And what a lot of people get wrong with Instagram is that they CTA, go to my page, and that's the only thing that they do. But you look at top people like Brez, TJR, if you look through their content, you don't even know that they have a product, right? Because our audience doesn't like to be sold to. We're in a trust recession. So our audience doesn't like to feel like they're just a number, or you're just trying to collect a check from them or payment, right? And so you want to have your CTAs on your Instagram be like in your story sequences, in ads. You don't want it to be in your middle of funnel content, or your audience will really become numb to these CTAs, right? And it's something that I'm working with Simon in right now, is just creating more diverse story sequences. And then lastly is free lead magnets, right? And so our middle of funnel content should push to these long form YouTube videos, these free lead magnets, these Instagram stories. And what these free lead magnets are is just free value. This can be a guide, PDF guides, maybe even the best I think is a free community, right? Where they can just watch hours of your content. And then at the end, it's embedded with the CTA to your offer, CTA that takes them to your landing page, right? And all of this all of these leads to your primary call to action. Book a call with me below. Click on this landing page below, right? But you do it in a way where it's just not a constant sell, because people are tired of being sold to. People want to feel like they're coming to this conclusion on their own. Not just enough to do content, right? You don't achieve $5,000 days through just putting out random content to go viral. How you actually move the needle forward in your coaching business is by creating content that converts and operates almost like a flywheel. So it's constantly selling for you. So if you're an online coach looking to scale your offer, this is just one small aspect, but this is small leverage you can pull to get huge results. But if you're a coach, follow along. I'll be breaking down all the systems that actually drive results. And if you're interested in working with me, book a call on my calendar below, and we can connect for a free consultation call.